In today's video, we are going to be talking about soy. Is it healthy or unhealthy? A lot of people claim that soy is a good source of plant protein. But then you have another group of people who claim that soy is a big cause of inflammation. Whenever I make videos like this, I try to look at the topic objectively, because oftentimes the answer isn't black and white. My goal in this video today is to present you with all the facts, and from there, let you draw your own conclusions. In today's video, we are going to talk about the pros and the cons of soy, and whether it is helping or hurting your health. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I share new posts every single day. So, what's the deal with soy? As I said at the start of this video, some people claim that it is a healthy source of protein, while others claim that it can lead to negative health implications. We're going to start off today's video talking about what soy is and why some people believe it is beneficial. And then we're going to get into the dark side of soy and see why other people swear off it entirely. Soybeans are a type of legume native to Asia. Soybeans are used to make tofu, soy milk, soy sauce, soybean oil, and more recently, mock meats. Soy has been a staple in Asian diets for thousands of years. Although the soy being consumed in Asian countries is a lot different than the soy we eat in the Western world, and we'll get to why that is a little bit later in the video. In terms of nutrition, soybeans have pretty equal macros, with 100 grams containing 36 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat, with most of the fat being polyunsaturated fat. Soybeans also contain a decent amount of fiber, vitamin K1, and copper. Now here is where things start to get a little bit controversial. Soybeans are one of the richest sources of the phytoestrogen isoflavone, which is also known as dietary estrogen. Isoflavones have a similar structure to our body's own estrogen, which can cause problems because these isoflavones bind to our estrogen receptors and leave the real estrogen to circulate the body. Since phytoestrogens are weaker than real estrogen, this can cause suboptimal function. To put into perspective just how much dietary estrogen is in soy, 100 grams of beef that has been implanted with hormones contains just 1.7 nanograms of estrogen. When we compare this to 100 grams of tofu, the tofu has 22 million nanograms of dietary estrogen. We will come back to whether this is a good thing or a bad thing a little bit later in the video, but let's start off talking about the benefits. The pros of soy. Number one is reduced disease risk. There have been studies done linking soy consumption to reduced breast cancer risk and also reduced heart disease risk. But with these studies, it is important to note that they are all observational. This means that the researchers looked at large groups of people and tried to draw conclusions between their habits and their health. Now, I've talked about this before on my channel, but there are a few problems with these type of studies. First off, they can't prove causation, only correlation. When a correlation is found, researchers are meant to do more rigorous studies to either prove or disprove causation. So, while observational studies do have a place, it is important to note that they do not show the whole picture. Now, I've used this example before, but it's too good not to mention again. In Florida, there is a correlation between ice cream sales and shark attacks. It's probably not likely that one of these caused the other. It is more accurate to assume that when it is hotter, people are buying more ice cream and also swimming more. So there is a whole third component that is the cause of both. And the same applies anytime you hear that X food is linked to Y disease. Number two, soy is a complete protein source. Soy is technically a complete protein, meaning that it contains all essential amino acids. However, it does not include them in balanced amounts and is very low in the essential amino acid methionine. This makes it inferior to animal protein, which is also a complete protein, but has everything in balanced amounts. So yes, soy is a complete protein technically, but to rely on it as your only protein source will lead to deficiencies. Number 3, increased estrogen. As I mentioned previously, soy contains a very high amount of isoflavones, which act like estrogen within the body. This is thought to be beneficial for postmenopausal women because they produce less estrogen after menopause. And now let's get into the potential downsides of soy. The cons of soy. Number 1, increased estrogen. Yes, increased estrogen is both a pro and a con. Because isoflavones act like estrogen in the body, this can lead to hormonal imbalances. Estrogen levels are higher in women than men, as estrogen's main role is women's fertility. A bit of dietary estrogen here and there, yeah, that's probably not an issue for most people, as it does have a weaker effect than true estrogen. But if you are consuming these foods in mass amounts, you might run into some issues. Okay, and you're probably thinking to yourself, what about people in Asian countries where soy is a large part of their diet? A big thing to point out here is that most of the soy consumed in Asian countries is fermented, whereas here in the Western world, it's not. People in these countries are consuming soy in the form of miso, natto, tempeh, and tamari, whereas people in the Western world are eating soy burgers, soy protein isolate, and soy bars. Fermentation reduces the amount of isoflavones in soy. Tempeh, which is fermented tofu, contains 18% of the isoflavones tofu does. That is a huge reduction. The one downside to fermenting soy and fermenting any foods in general is that it increases the histamine content. Now, this isn't an issue if you're not histamine intolerant, and if you're not sure if you're histamine intolerant or not, check out my video on the topic after this one. In one case study done on a 60-year-old man who developed gynecomastia, he had very high estrogen levels, 4 times the reference range, thanks to the soy in his diet. He reported erectile dysfunction and decreased libido. Mind you, he was consuming 3 quarts of soy milk a day, which is a lot. And when he stopped drinking the soy milk, his estrogen slowly returned to normal and his breast tenderness subsided. Number 2, thyroid dysfunction. Other hormones that can be impacted by soy are our thyroid hormones. Now, this is mainly an issue if you are not getting enough iodine in your diet, which unfortunately is a lot of us. Isoflavones deplete iodine stores, which leaves less iodine to be synthesized into thyroid hormone. It is estimated that 1/3 of the world's population is not consuming enough iodine, although this is something that isn't often tested for. A group of iodine researchers tested 35,000 people, and of those, 96% were deficient in iodine. The best sources of iodine are seaweed, kelp, and seafood. And this might be another reason why people in Asian countries do seemingly better with soy, because seafood is such a large part of their diet. But it is worth noting that while there are lower rates of prostate and colon cancer in Asian countries, there are higher rates of other types of cancer, including thyroid. Hashimoto disease, as is evident by the name, actually originated in Japan. There are also things in our environment that block iodine absorption, such as fluoride, which complicates matters further. I've spoken several times about iodine on my channel, and I think it is just so important. I have tested deficient for it in the past, and I think it was largely to blame for some health issues I went through previously, mainly surrounding my period and borderline hypothyroidism. And I will pop the link to that video up above if you want to know more about that. In the 1950s, there were several cases of goiter, which is an enlargement of the thyroid gland, caused by soy-based baby food. Iodine was then added to the products and the issue went away. Another case study done on a 72-year-old woman found she developed hypothyroidism and a large goiter from a supplement she was taking containing soybean extract. Both were reversed when she stopped taking the supplement. So if you are getting enough iodine in through diet, then soy shouldn't impact your thyroid. but unfortunately, a lot of us are not getting enough. Number 3 is GI distress. Soy contains several anti-nutrients that can damage the gut wall. They create holes in the surface membrane of the gut, allowing a variety of substances to get through. And this leads to a wide range of other health complications. One of these anti-nutrients, saponins, can also block nutrient absorption, including that of vitamins A, B12, D, and E, and disrupt your body's ability to digest fats, carbs, and protein. Now, some people believe saponins can be beneficial in small doses. They provide a mild stress to the body, which will make it stronger in the future. But I'm not so sure that the pros outweigh the cons here. In conclusion, fermented soy is better than unfermented soy for several reasons, but it does not come without side effects. Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝗼𝙎𝙬, who is a nutritionist and author of the book The Whole Soy Story, has said, thousands of studies link soy to malnutrition, digestive distress, thyroid problems, cognitive decline, reproductive disorders, immune system breakdown, even heart disease and cancer. Possible benefits are far outweighed by proven risks. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section down below what your experience with soy has been. Did you notice any benefits cutting it out of your diet? If you like this video, you might also like my video on iodine that I mentioned earlier. You can check it out here. If you want to catch up on my most recent upload, you can click here. And if you want to check out my coaching programs, you can find them here. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.